my actual eyesight. Is there the high drive? Deep center. Go, go, go. We're out of here. We're out of here. Say ya, playa.
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A gold pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a doubleheader on DWB, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We've got American Legion baseball as we come to air just in time for Mullica Hill and Gloucester Township to square off in the Camden County Legion semifinal. The first of two games we'll have today from the picturesque Alcyon Park here in the hills of Pittman, New Jersey. These two teams will square up for 7 innings to face Washington Township in the Legion County Final and see who advances in the league play. But these guys have been fighting for a good month and a half, 2 months now, as this all culminates under the bright lights of Alcyon Park and the bright sun of today's sky. You've got the lefty for Mullica Hill being Matt McNatty getting the start for the black and yellow. And, you know, we talked to these guys before the game, and one of the things that they said was, well, I said, it's 100 degrees. Why are you not wearing your yellow primary jerseys? And they said, it's bad luck. We always lose when we're in the yellow. So they said, we'd rather be uncomfortable than losing. So they decided to brave the heat and go with their moisture-wicking black jerseys for the post, as Gloucester Township in those very bright baby blue jerseys with the white pants for a 7-inning contest today. As we said, we're getting started just a couple minutes behind schedule, 5:17 here in Jersey, with the scheduled first pitch at 5:15. But it's Gloucester Township and Mullica Hill here from Alcyon Park on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, as we'll go to the main board here with an excellent
7-inning matchup on the horizon. Let's see what Miles Taylor's got in the tank for Gloucester Township in tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement. For Taylor's Gloucester Township club tonight, it will be leading off with Corey Jenkins from Highland, the shortstop. Logan Franks is going to be... Excuse me. There we go, fix that. Logan Franks is going to be the left fielder batting 7th. Burnley is going to be the catcher in the 3 spot. Ryan Joseph of Paul 6 is going to be in the cleanup spot at 3rd. Khalil Singh, the all-time stolen base leader at CCTS and one of the best base stealers that we've seen in the past 10 years out of all of South Jersey. He shockingly takes the center field spot. Well, not shockingly, but what is surprising is that he's in the 5 spot in tonight's starting lineup. Jordan Spilla is in the 6 spot at second base, as that's going to be Nick Diana at 7th. Zach Holland is your pitcher in DH, and Tiernan Blessing rounds out the order in right field. As we've got a lefty versus righty matchup with McNanny versus Corey Jenkins in the Camden County Legion semifinal. The first pitch of the afternoon is underway, and it's a strike call to Jenkins. 0-1. 0-1 from the southpaw. Takes that one in. 1-1. Bill Gore, the Legion district administrator, not in the house tonight, but a handful of familiar names from around South Jersey, like Nick Record of Triton, Corey Jenkins of Highland, Halal Singh of CCTS, among others. Jenkins taps that one over to first, but is hesitant to get out of the box, and eventually it goes in his favor for a foul ball, so it's 1-2. Of course, the top 3 for Mullica Hill, all very familiar names to DWB. Brendan Lawfrey of West Deptford, a catcher. Gavin Weiner, second baseman from Gloucester. One of the best games that we've ever covered, the South Jersey Group 1 final versus Woodstown. And Chris Wolf, the right fielder coming out of Clearview. Also Evan Schoiba of Kingsway and Joey McDonald, another Gloucester product, in the order tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jenkins. Jenkins sends this one a mile high. Chris Wolf trails to his left and makes the catch, 1 away. Jenkins is retired for the first out of the semifinal. For Corey Jenkins and Highland, they won 11-14 under Coach DJ Gore. Gore winning his 300th career game as a head coach versus Deptford. But Jenkins, the 5'9" outfielder, playing shortstop tonight at a .309 career average in 4 years as a now graduated senior of Highland Regional over in Blackwood. That one is down to the left fielder, Franks. And jammed over towards first in foul grounds and out of play. One ball, 1 strike. And that one is way outside, 2-1. Yanni is set. And a 2-1. Just a hair outside from McNatt Innings. 3-1. Swing and a miss. That'll be a full count to Logan Frank. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Frank's the outfielder out of St. Augustine. Chops this one over towards second base. Picked up by Weiner. Throw across is a little high, but it's pulled down. And that's 2 up, 2 down for Gloucester Township here on the top of the first. Of course, Gloucester Township baseball as a Legion program went through several years of hiatus before returning this year with the new owner, Tyler Coluccio, who has had a very strong track record throughout South Jersey. An assistant baseball coach at Overbrook and Haddon Heights, and also an assistant football coach at no less than 4 different high schools, including Overbrook, Eastern, Camden, and Timber Creek. He was hired this past year to be a recruiting assistant and an assistant baseball coach over at Gwinnett Mercy, Eastern Pennsylvania. And also owns the South Jersey Crew, which is a team in the Tri-County Summer League that we also cover here on DWB. That one's outside. And there's the... I'm sorry, that's not the track record that we were looking for, but just take my word for it. I mean, Tyler Coluccio has had a very accomplished career in only a select number of years. He only started as an assistant coach and head coach in some circumstance in 2017. And in the past 6-7 years, he's really made a name for himself as one of the most involved in South Jersey. You know, you could argue there's a couple of names up there that are some of the most involved people in South Jersey baseball. John Young Sr., Bill Gore, Kevin Minnick. There are some excellent names at the top of that list. And I'd say that Coluccio is making his way up there, even though he is a coach over at Gwinnett Mercy. We were supposed to cover Gwinnett Mercy this past March, in a regular season out-of-conference game versus Rutgers Camden, but we had to call that off due to a scheduling conflict with basketball. As pitch, outside. And it's 2-2 to Pete Burnley. Another Sicklerville native and St. Augustine alum out of 2024 class. Just a hair high at the letters, and the count is 3-2. McNally has not made it easy for him in terms of pitch count. He hasn't allowed any base runners, and he's got fairly easy outs, but he's worked the count full in almost every at-bat he's had so far tonight. And that only makes you work a little bit harder, and it only makes you want it even more. Ball 4, as that's just a hair off the plate, and Burnley will be GT's first base runner of the afternoon. Tough call no matter how you slice it. I definitely think there's some that would have wanted it the other way, but not much you can do there. As here is Ryan Joseph. Ryan Joseph, an outfielder out of CCTS, but currently at Rutgers Camden, a rising sophomore. Saw him a couple of times, but he only appeared in 3 games in his rookie campaign versus Rosemont, York College, and Oneonta. Had 2 at-bats, drove in 1 RBI, and had 1 walk. As this one is popped up, straight away right, and Chris Wolf takes that one with confidence to retire the side. As Gloucester Township leaves a runner on, but it will be West Deptford's Brendan Lawfrey, the catcher, will take off the pads and grab a bat in the bottom of the first as we're scoreless from Pittman. We'll be back after this.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Gloucester Township trots out their starting 9 with Zachary Holland, formerly of Eastern but now a rising sophomore over at Camden County College in Blackwood. He gets the start for GT as Mullica Hill trots out their black and yellow starting 9. For Gloucester Township, a very familiar top 3. Brendan Lockery behind the plate batting leadoff. Gavin Weiner of Gloucester batting second in the second base position. Chris Wolf takes right field and bats takes right field, bats third, representing Clearview. Enrico Tofano takes third in the cleanup spot. Josh Turner at first. Rob Lagarina at sixth spot. Evan Shoiba of Kingsway is the DH batting seventh. Cole Nacarelli is the left fielder in the eighth spot. Joey McDonald, Gloucester, rounds out the order in the ninth spot. No pitcher batting. That one is fouled back onto the soccer pitch. 2-1. It's 2-1. The Gloucester Township got one runner on via a two-out walk, but not first. But we've covered Camden County College a good bit this past spring. Popped up. Over towards first. He lost it in the sun. And that's another life added for Mullica Hill as Diana has some trouble with it over at first. I mean, the sun is behind us out towards right field, but there also is a decent gust blowing across the infield from third base towards first. So it can be difficult to track down those pop-ups. So I'll give him that. I mean, it's not like he just missed it. He gave it what he had, but just come down with it again for Diane over at first base. Holland, 2-2, gets a curveball in the dirt. Count is full to Lockery. West Deptford had a lot of graduating seniors in the class of 2023, and with John Oler, the head coach, over for the Eagles, they finished 10-14, and he lost the bat. The bat hit in the same spot the ball did, behind the plate. Why we wear batting? I mean, he is wearing batting gloves, just lost grip of it. There was one game earlier this year that we saw where somebody broke a metal bat. I think it was Rutgers. It might have been Rutgers Camden, where somebody's metal bat had actually snapped in half when they got jammed on a pitch inside, and they still got a base hit out of it. Line drive. Speaking of base hits, there's our first knock of the game for either side, and it comes from leadoff man Lockery. West Deptford's representative gets a knock, setting it up for his Colonial Conference spring rival, but his summer teammate, Gavin Weiner. Of course, Gloucester had that incredible run, winning their first sectional championship in baseball since 1974, beating Woodstown in a 5-4 walk-off win to advance the Final Four, if you will. And in the state semis, lost in 5 innings to Point Pleasant Beach. Eventually, in their own right, lost to Pompton Lakes in the final. Pinch runner at first, courtesy for Lockery. That is number 20, Palumbo. A.J. Palumbo, also of Clearview, which is probably the closest place to this Mullica Hill. Holland working with traffic early after a base hit. Weiner takes outside. 2-1. But we were talking about temperature. That is going to be a factor tonight. You know, these guys that are wearing the black jerseys, Mullica Hill, it's going to be important for them and for everybody to stay hydrated. Ooh. As this ball is hit well into left. It's got a high launch angle, but it is caught down the left field line, deep in foul territory. And that'll be the first out as Weiner flies out to deep left. Bring up Chris Wolf. But yeah, there you go. There's a little factoid for you in the bottom left. This is tied for the hottest broadcast by temperature that we have ever had. Wolf pokes this one down the left field line and foul. Northern Burlington and Audubon checks in at 101, which was the hottest broadcast ever. That was a 4 o'clock game in Audubon, and keep in mind, that was a girls' soccer game on turf. If you thought playing on grass and playing outside, period, was bad enough, playing on turf is so much worse. It's basically like you're playing on concrete. And then there were a couple other soccer games from this past fall, like West Windsor-Plainsboro versus Delran. That checks in at 97. And funny enough, 367 days ago, 1 year and 1 day, July 15th of last year, we did the American Legion District 15, which was in Belmar, and that was also a 99-degree day. I think that was one of the first games that you, Vince, worked with the team back in July of last year. Wolf takes high. That's going to be 1-1, but yeah. I mean, obviously it's not 101 right now, and it certainly doesn't feel like that in the shade, but if you're standing on that baseball field right now, it's certainly a lot hotter for them than it is for us. Breeze blowing out is a nice touch, but never know. That one is drilled into right field. This one's got a chance, and it's gone! Wolf drills it out in the right field, and that's a 2-run shot off of Holland. Chris Wolf, the Clearview Pioneer, explores a new way to hit a home run, and it's 2-0 Mullica Hill. Chris Wolf with a shot to deep right field after almost getting called out on a foul down the left field line. And he redeems himself by going deep to right field at the hitter-friendly Alcyon. 2-0 for the home guy. Strike one. Cleanup hitter Enrico Tofano. Hit down the right field line. That one is foul. Enrico Tofano out of Cherry Hill, but plays baseball across the river over at St. Joe's Prep in Philadelphia as a part of the PCL, Philly Catholic League. Tofano takes high and in. 6'1", 187. Also does some pitching with a top fastball velocity of 81 to bring the perfect game. But also committed to Franklin and Marshall College for baseball. Division II school over in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for an Amish country. Three balls, two strikes from Holland, and this one is roped into center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. So after Wolf's homer, Tofano follows that one up with a base hit. So we'll bring up their number 5 hitter, Josh Turner. So 3 hits and 4 batters against that out. Turner steps in as the 5th man to grab a bat this frame. Ball 1. Don't forget our next broadcast will be a little bit later in the evening tomorrow as we travel down to Vineland for the qualifying rounds of the Tri-County Baseball League playoffs. It's the South Jersey Grizzlies of Runnymede versus the Gartons of Vineland, as that's going to poke into center field for a base hit. 4 base hits, 3 singles, 1 homer, 4 hits total, as Mullica Hill keeps on keeping on and brings it down to Rob Lagarina now. outside. So 2 on and 1 out. Minor flew out to left. We'll follow that up with a home run. Soprano. Turner had it on single. Ground ball sharply hit at third. Did he tag him? Yes, he did. The throw is wide at first. It skips off of Diana's glove, and that's going to get the runner on. And it will keep 2 runners on, but one is retired at third on what will be an unusual 5-3 fielder's choice, as Lagarina gets aboard for Evan Schoiba of Kingsway. So Schoiba now stepping in against Holland. Runners on first and second. Legion up 2. We're in the bottom of the first, looking to keep on that early start and keep the momentum high. Outside. But we were saying that the playoff game in Vineland tomorrow starts at 7 p.m. at Vineland High School, another hitter-friendly field. Up and in. Grazed them there, but no cigar. And that is ball 4. Bases loaded. It's Holland in a bit of trouble here. So Herner will take place at third after picking the 8th. Macarena takes second. Schoiba first. Relic. The 8th batter of the inning. Mullica Hill is going to try to maximize production here in the first inning. That throw was a little high back to the mound. Outside. Two balls, no strikes to Nacarelli. Bases loaded, and don't want this inning to unravel for Holland. And he might get out of it here. No, that's going to be botched at short by Jenkins. It's having trouble being picked up everywhere, and that's going to be an RBI. Well, I guess not an RBI because that'll be scored an error, but McDonald will get a chance as Mullica Hill will bat around, or at least they'll go through the order. 9th batter of the frame comes up with Gloucester's McDonald, and the 3rd run comes across on what was scored in our books as 6. Holland hits and delivers. Breaking ball strike. Only one batter did not reach base this inning, and that was Weiner. Flew out to left. Even the second out of the inning was recorded on a fielder's choice. Required Lagarina to reach first base. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 for Gloucester Township in the top half of the second. Those batters being Kalel Singh, Jordan Spilla, and Diana. That one's going to be a ground ball out towards second. Picked up, throw to first is in time. Side retired. Mullica Hill could have had more, but they'll be happy with 3 runs as an E6 grants them another chance at life, and they spend 9 batters at the plate as McDonald is the final retired. But Chris Wolf gets the offense started with a 342-foot home run to right, the 46th on a DWB broadcast this year. We're through 1.
Breeze blowing out is a nice touch, but never know. That one is drilled in the right field. This one's got.
Breeze blowing out is a nice touch, but never know. That one is drilled into right field. This one's got a chance, and it's gone! Wolf drilled. Top of the second inning here from Pittman. Mullica Hill jumps out to a favorable 3-0 lead. Strike is pulled. The other one's a ball. It is 1-1 to Khalil Singh, who was more known for his work on the bases, despite the fact that he is also an exceptional hitter, should be noted. Singh fouls that one off. 5'8", 130 out of CCTS. A career total of 80 stolen bases on just 51 hits in his games played across 3 seasons at CCTS. A 458 average in his senior year with a 560 slugging percentage. Didn't hit any home runs, but I mean, just the fact that he stole 51 bases in a high school season is borderline insanity. They've got a good friend of ours, Barry Galasso, as a head coach over there, also the coach of CCTS women's basketball. CCTS went 9-12 last year in the conference. But that's the thing, 9-12. They played 21 games, and he stole 51 bases in those 21 games. No playoff run. They lost in the first round of the New Jersey Tech School tournament to GCIT, and that effectively ended their season because they didn't get in the NJSIAA playoffs. So Khalil Singh certainly left a legacy at CCTS. They will miss him greatly in 2025. Here's his speed right here. Ground ball to second, throw to first, in time. And Singh is out by just a step for out number 1, bringing up Jordan Spilla now. Man, it's hazy out there. Wow. Gloucester Township still with no hits here in the second inning. They got 1 runner on via a walk as Anthony Korma is in the building. Washington Township's head coach and also head coach of Glassboro baseball. As this one is roped into right, and that will be GT's first hit of the afternoon. Coming off the bat of Spilla, definitely needing to make up some offensive production here in these frames. Started in the middle of the order. So here is Diana, left batter's box. Diana to be followed up by Zach Holland. And there's a strike. 0-1 the count. Washington Township's game is scheduled for 30 minutes after this semifinal. Depending on the pace of play, this game goes an hour and a half for 7 innings. Probably get started at, like 7:10 at the earliest, and could be 8:15, 8:30 at the latest. But I don't mind working late if it means I'm working with DWB. That one is down. Although right now the pace of play is favoring towards the latter. We are in the top of the second inning, and we are 22 minutes into the game time after starting 5 minutes past scheduled first pitch at 5:15. Lefty-lefty matchup here. And a strike on the inside corner. Count is 2-2 to Diana, the first baseman. Two from the lefty to Diana. Tried to check into that one a little bit, but that's upstairs. 3-2. That is ball 4. So Gloucester Township in business, putting the tying run at the dish for Zach Holland, pitcher and DH for this afternoon. And a Eastern Viking alum, now a rising sophomore at Camden County College. After a 4-3 ground out by Khalil Singh, he got a base hit and a walk to put GT in business outside. Gloucester Township only working with one substitute on the bench, and that is Triton's Nick Record. Also a graduated senior in the Legion program, formerly of the Mustang. Went through a lot of coaching changes the last couple of years. At Gary Sarno, the legendary 500-win head coach last year in 2023, and then switched over control to Ray Traley 2024. I mean, they just don't have the strength in numbers, which is unfortunate because the Tri-County Conference is an incredibly competitive conference, and the teams that they play, Delsea, Highland, Timber Creek, are great schools, but they just seem to get outmatched by them a lot of times. That one's going to trickle into left field for a base hit. They're going to hold everybody there as Zach Holland contributes to his own cause with a base hit, and the bases are loaded for the bottom of the order and one away as the number 9 hitter, that being Tiernan Blessy, grabs the bat. Tiernan Blessy out of Seneca had 21 at-bats in 2 high school seasons. Batted .333 in his senior campaign. Is more known for his contributions on the hill, pitching 51 innings in 2023 with a 2.62 ERA for the Seneca Golden Eagles. A team that a lot of people have always slept on in terms of production in the playoffs, but after making the South Jersey Group 2 South Jersey Group 2 final and winning the sectional final as the 8th seed last year, they got even better and they did it again. Back-to-back sectional championships, neither of them being as a 1 seed. Lost in state semifinals for Group 2 to Governor Livingston. But a big spot for Blessy here in a lefty-lefty matchup. Obviously, it would be nice to get this situation with Corey Jenkins so you can get the righty-lefty platoon. But Blessey still has a chance to cut into this Mullica Hill lead and send the momentum flipping back the other way. And Blessey's going to do just that. It's going to backpedal over the mound. They're going to throw to the plate. They get the one out there. So it's not a double play, and it's not exactly what Mullica Hill wanted, but they prevented a run. So Blessey reaches, everybody moves up 90 feet, and the runner is called out at the plate as Free Jenkins. Back top of the card, gets us rolling again for G2. Strike one. So Diana on third. Pinch runner Rickard at second base. Blessey at first. Got an 0-1 count to the Highland shortstop Jenkins. That one is headed out onto the soccer pitch. Speaking of soccer, Pittman Soccer will get their own DWB feature this fall. Tune in on Thursday, October 3rd at 5 p.m. from the Green Wave Turf as we've got an out-of-conference matchup between DWB's two favorite teams and two most popular teams to cover. Pittman Panthers and the Audubon Green Wave at 5 o'clock on Thursday, October 3rd, in some boys soccer non-conference action. Swing and a miss, and a huge out for Mullica Hill as Gloucester Township had some momentum going, but they leave the bases loaded and come up empty-handed. After 1.5 here from Alcyon, Mullica Hill leads 3-0.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting including all natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Bottom of the second inning. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center, the #1 spot in South Jersey for you to keep your pet happy and healthy with the most organic food products available in the state. Visit today 7 days a week at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon. And also, this is a small business run by an 18-year-old rising freshman at RCSJ Gloucester and a graduate of Audubon High School. Our business is partially funded by viewers like you who make small contributions to our Venmo account to help with travel expenses and with equipment costs. We are looking to upgrade our equipment in the next couple of months as I make my foray into my first college semester. Our Venmo is at DW Broadcasting, no spaces, no hyphens, and of course nothing is expected, but anything is appreciated as I try to keep this. This is almost directly out of pocket. The only thing that isn't is our commercials, which are all run by small businesses, and we film, edit, produce, and record all commercials that you see on DWB broadcasts. So if you're a small business owner who's interested in getting in the advertising game in front of 60,000 annual viewers and more per year, reach out to us via email at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. There's a line drive by Lawfrey, and he is now 2 for 2. Back-to-back singles up the middle. And Lockery gets a base hit to put Legion on the edge again in the second inning. That's the 5th hit for Mullica Hill. A very impressive start for them off of Holland, remaining in the game for the second frame. As Weiner, who flew out to left, grabs back. Weiner pops this one up on the first pitch over towards Diana. There's a miscommunication, but luckily, cooler heads prevail, and that one is caught. Route number 1. It's always a bad feeling as a hitter when everybody else is getting on base in the lineup and you're the only one that hasn't done much so far. You know, you flew out, you popped out. And Weiner is, of course, an excellent hitter and was one of the best in South Jersey one this past year. But just in general, when you're on top of what has been a really good offensive game for you so far, you know, it kind of feels deflating a little bit to be the only guy in the lineup too. You know, I've seen that even at the professional level with the Phillies and everybody else. You know, when you see like the Phillies put up 15 runs, but if Brandon Marsh or Johan Rojas or anybody in that order goes 0 for 4, 0 for 5, you know, like they're going to feel bad about it a little bit. You know, it almost feels like you're at the caboose of the train. But, you know, in this kind of situation, you're also just trying to back up your teammates. You're also trying to be the, you know, even if you yourself are not having the best offensive night, you know, you're gonna lift up your teammates. If assuming you're a team player, you know, you're gonna lift up your teammates and be like, all right, I didn't do, you know, what I needed to, but everybody else is, and we're winning because of it. So, you know, I'm still gonna be happy about that. I'm gonna be happy for my teammates. As Wolf grounds out to first unassisted, following up his 2-run home run for out number 2 that does advance Lockery to third. He advanced to second on a wild pitch and now moves up 90 more feet on a ground out. This brings up Rico Tufano, also singled but was called out as a part of a fielder's choice. A couple at-bats later, there's a strike call. We are under 50 days away from the kickoff of the 2024 DWB football season. Tune in for the Butch Warner Memorial Trophy game on Thursday, August 29th, between two Burlington County specialists, the Palmyra Panthers and the Riverside Rams, from Riverside at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday the 29th. It's a part of a 2-game weekend that we've got, including on Friday the 30th, Collingswood and Clayton, as Clayton opens up their season from their brand new turf field. There's a ground ball out towards third, picked up, throw across, fired hard across the diamond, and it is in time to retire the side. So Mullica Hill pulls off a little bit, scoring 3 in the first, but leaving a runner on in the second. We're through 2 here at Alcyon, and Mullica Hill still up comfortably 3-0. Top of the third inning, there's the famous car sitting above the clubhouse of Alcyon Park as the first pitch is roped out towards short. Picked up, no, it's going to be bobbled, and that will be a base runner for Gloucester Township, as Logan Franks gets the party started for a team that has left 4 base runners on first 2 frames. That will be scored in E6 against Mullica Hill. But yeah, that car on top of the clubhouse represents the many NASCAR and stock car races that were held here in the 1940s and 50s before it was all bulldozed and made into a parking lot and eventually into this field complex that we have today. As that one is roped deep in the left field, and that ball is going to be off the wall and left, just a couple of feet from being a long ball. Wow. And instead of a homer, he gets half of a homer, trotting into second base with a leadoff double as Burnley ropes one into deep left, and suddenly Gloucester Township is making their presence known here in the third. I mean, to be fair, on paper, you looked at that first inning where Gloucester Township didn't have much momentum, and then Mullica Hill followed that up with 9 batters, 3 runs, with room for a lot more on the board. You thought it was going to be all Mullica Hill, but Gloucester Township is showing that they are capable as well. I mean, I have not seen either team this year, so my first impressions are maybe going to be harsh against one or favorable against another. But JBB Broadcasting, a good friend of ours with Jake Clark, the Sterling alum, and now Rowan sports broadcaster, company that they ran this summer, did some Mullica Hill American Legion games. And, I got to watch a little bit of that footage. And, I mean, this is a very well-rounded team from top to bottom in the order. When you've got a guy like Evan Shoiba who is in the 7 spot when on probably any other American Legion team, he'll be batting in the 4 or 5 spot, or any Summer League team. He'd be pretty high up there. As Ryan Joseph swinging for the fences and maybe swinging for Camden County. It's 2-2. Remember, the winner of tonight's game plays Washington Township 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. 2 strikes, and the pitch is outside. 3-1. But Gloucester Township in business. Can't deny that. They've got 2 runners in scoring position after an E6 got Franks aboard and a double by Burnley. Puts the blue and white in business. Got a piece of that one, but ultimately he was on top of it. No, he didn't break it.
It sounded weird.
He was on top of it a little bit. And even if you get a ground ball in the infield, that first and second base gap is really wide with Gavin Weiner over there. Obviously he's going to retreat a little bit. But with the first baseman playing at the edge of the grass, there's a good gap for you to poke one the other way and maybe get 2 runs home. Really cut into that deficit. And he will poke this one into left field for a base hit for Ryan Joseph. That does score Franks, and it will hold a runner at third. So Legion for Gloucester Township is on the board, and it's 3-1. Good piece of hitting there. 2 strikes against you. You don't have much going in your favor, but you've got those 2 runners on, and you've got to contribute. So you'll contribute in any way you can. He took a pitch that wasn't all that favorable. The swing wasn't all that pretty, but he did what he had to do to get the run home, and he got it. So Ryan Joseph with an RBI single. Scoring Franks, putting Burnley on third, but this does bring up a double play situation for Kalal Singh. The probably best word of advice is to get the ball in the air. Wolf has a good arm there out and right. So you have to pick your poison a little bit. If you don't get on, where are you going to hit the ball? And if you hit the ball at all, what's your best course of action for getting on base? This is the kind of chess game that you have to play at this Legion level. Swing and a miss makes it 1-1 to Singh. Like we said, he batted .456 as a senior at CCTS and stole 51 bases in 21 games, which if you do the math, is an average of 2.4 stolen bases per game.
Uh-oh.
And now we do have a runner going, and it's Joseph. Weiner was in front of the bag. Now we've got a double steal, and he scores. Burnley with smart base running as Taylor gives the go-ahead. Joseph sets the decoy, and they get the run home to make it 3-2. That is a play that hasn't been all that popular in the last couple of years. I've seen it maybe 2 or 3 times every high school season, and that was done perfectly. You distract the infielders by getting somebody who's not necessarily your best base stealer. You get him to go. I mean, it's the double steal, but it's a delayed double steal. And Singh strikes out swinging. 1 away. And funny enough, that is the first strikeout on either side tonight. I apologize, the second strikeout. The first came from Corey Jenkins, but still, it goes to show that when Mullica Hill has gone through the batting order 1.5 times, and they haven't struck out once, they have seen the ball incredibly well. Even if they don't get on base every single time, they darn near did it in the first inning. So it's one thing to say that you're hitting the ball well, but it's another thing to say that you've gone 15 batters without a single strikeout against you. Meanwhile, Mullica Hill still only has 2. So Gloucester Township still hitting the ball well. They're going to do it again. Sliding and diving it short. The throw from his knees is going to be short, and it will be a base hit for Spilla.
About that part of the field, everyone keeps
that's
flubbing it or fall down.
I don't know, but a rough play either way, and Spilla's now 2 for 2, getting that tying run. Joseph now on third for Diana, as the head coach Scott for Mullica Hill comes out to talk to his shortstop. That being Rob Lagarina, drove in a run on a fielder's choice, and it looks like they're going to keep him in the game. It kind of just looked like he lost his footing.
Yeah.
Didn't seem like anything too crazy, but it ended up being a situation where he fell a little awkwardly and ended up having to come up a little short with it, and obviously throwing from the knees doesn't help. Of course, Major League Baseball draft in the news this past couple of days. 3 New Jersey high school pitchers were selected, including a handful of collegiate players like Ian Petritz. As that ball nicked somebody. Not sure who it hit, whether it was...
I think it went off the mask of the umpire.
Well, I don't know if it hit the umpire or if it hit the mask of Lockery. Not sure, but we seem to be going on as planned.
No one shook up.
Yeah, everybody seems to be fine, so Diana will resume with an 0-1 count as Lagarina stays in the game at short for Mullica Hill. Runners going, both runners are going, and they're not going to have a play, and actually, after all of that, the first runner held. So now you've got a double play situation here, and that's kind of like a happy accident for Mullica Hill here. These guys are very aggressive on the bases, and it's helping them in one way, but you've just kind of opened up a gap for a really efficient shortstop and second base combination of Lagarina and Weiner to maybe turn that 4-6-3 or 6-4-3 double play. Got one out, and it's roped back, and it is stuck in the fence. Oh, my goodness. I've only seen it a couple of times in my many, many years at Alcyon Park. But, yeah, there you go. That's the perfect spot. Somebody's going to have to get a fishing net or like a cane or something for that one. And it's 1-2. There was one time during a summer league game where a ball hit a ball that was stuck in the netting or the chain link fence, and it actually knocked both of them out. But I think the Phillies were playing in Chicago a couple of weeks ago, and Edmundo Sosa, he lost his bat.
People were scared below.
It went halfway up the netting, and it just kind of hung there. I guess I didn't watch the end of the game that night, so I don't know if they held on to it.
All the fans were just looking at it, waiting for it.
Because it didn't. There was no safe way to get it down without drastically stopping the game. And they're major league players. They have extra bats. You know, they can borrow from a teammate if they need to. It wasn't the biggest, deal in the world. But the count is full to Diana, who's got 2 runners on and a chance to tie the game as a part of a big comeback inning for GT. And he makes that one foul. If he could straighten that one out, that might have even given them the lead if the cards are played right. But no cigar on that one. Count is still full. Zachary Holland, Camden County rising sophomore, who singled to help his own cause in the first inning. He bats next. Throw back to first, out in time. As we said, game time temperature was 100 degrees, but it has significantly cooled down since then. But we are just about an hour into this one, and it's only the top of the third. And that is ball 4. Bases loaded. And what was a stellar pitching performance up to this point has somewhat unraveled as Diana walks for the second time in as many appearances tonight. This brings up Zach Holland. Not to say that he's done a bad job in any way, but obviously Gloucester Township has gotten its groove back, if you will. They've brought that beat back into their order. And, you never know what Gloucester Township is going to have up their sleeve. They've had a lot of comeback wins this year, but so has Mullica Hill. They've had some excellent comebacks in Legion play this season. So you have to ask yourself, what's going to become of this comeback attempt? Because Gloucester Township, they left the bases loaded in the second inning, and they had left 4 base runners on in the first 2 frames. So if you can get a ball into the gap, take the lead, and set the momentum back into your hands, that would be a real game changer. Count is 1-0 to the pitcher, Holland. Swing and a miss, 1-1. But yeah, as we were talking about, 3 New Jersey players got selected in day 2 of the MLB draft. A couple of collegiate alums, like Bishop Eustace alum and Alabama Crimson Tide player Ian Petritz was selected by the Washington Nationals. And Holland pops this one up over towards first base, headed towards the line, and out of play. The highest overall pick was the 44th overall pick. Luke Dickerson of Morris Knowles High School went to the Washington Nationals, the shortstop who tied Mike Trout's New Jersey single-season home run record. I feel like we're going to be talking about Luke Dickerson's name for many years, whether it's in Washington or elsewhere. North Jersey product definitely making a name for himself in the nation's capital. Also a second-round draft pick. I believe there were actually 3 players selected in the second round alone, as there was also Bryce Meckage of Pennington, who went to the Milwaukee Brewers, and the 67th pick, Chris Lavonis of Christian Brothers Academy in the short conference, CBA. He also went to the Milwaukee Brewers. Top 98 as a member of CBA in the non-public league this year. Who's got that one in center field? Did he catch that? No, he didn't. That's going to tie the game. They've got an out at second base. But a gaff in center field just tied the game for Gloucester Township, and it's 3-3. So Holland reaches for the second time tonight by a pure stroke of luck. And because nobody dropped the ball in center field, it kind of fell on its own. That will be scored as an RBI single. Scoring Joseph. Spilla to third. Diana was called out at second, so that's actually going to be an RBI fielder's choice. And Zach Holland ties the game at 3-3, bringing up the lefty Tiernan Blessy. I wonder if Record is going to run at third. Actually, Record is running at third for Zach Holland with 2 out.
I think that's bull.
Well, no, there is. I mean, it's not official bullpen action, if you will, but those are 2 Mullica Hill guys getting their cards straightened out down the right field line, but not using the flat ground bullpen down the right field line. So I think they're just stretching, getting it started, because you have to kind of long toss in that situation. And then, after a little bit of time, you'll get back into it and throw from the bullpen once you're officially ready to get in there. 1-1 count. To the 9-hitter Tiernan Blessy. Reached on a fielder's choice his first time, but GT is making themselves known with a 3-run frame in the third. Down. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Great.
I apologize. Ian Petritz, that we were talking about, was taken by the Cardinals in the 12th round. There was also a Holy Spirit alum that was taken by, I want to say, Texas Rangers in the 5th round. Of course, we had our fair share of New Jersey, South Jersey pitchers that thought would get their name called, but as far as I'm concerned, they have not yet. I believe they're right now in the 20th round, which is the final round of the draft. Of course, there was a time where the Major League Baseball draft was 50, 60 rounds. If you remember back in 1991, Mike Piazza was selected in the 62nd round of the Major League draft to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Ooh,
this one
nice.
speared back at the hill. A great play under pressure to throw it out at first, and the side is retired. So Tiernan Blessy is the final out as GT brings up 8 and scores 3. So we're back to square one in Pittman. It's a 3-3 ball game going to the bottom of the third. Bottom of the third kicks off here for Mullica Hill as they are back to square one after a 3-run frame. Give Zach Holland some new life as that one is fouled back into the parking lot. Herner, Lagarina, and Shoiba middle of the order for Mullica Hill here in the bottom of the third. But, they put up 3 runs in the first inning, and I thought that this was going to be kind of a runaway, but these guys are now holding their own as this one's going to get over the head in right center field. Blessy gets into the right fielder, into the center fielder, Singh, as a near collision and near disaster out there ends up being averted. It's a base hit. Gets the party started for Mullica Hill. This broadcast is brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement. Make your dream kitchen come true today with wholesale kitchen cabinets and countertops at heavily discounted rates compared to big box retailers. Visit today at 612 Creek Road in Belmar, next to the 42 on-ramp. This one's lined into center field. Singh has a beat on it. He makes the catch, one away. That's one of those things where you kind of have to tip your cap, and you barreled it off the bat. And, I look at these recruiting videos from all over the country of players just in batting practice who are hitting line drives, and they're barreling up the ball. They're doing exactly what they need to do. But you think about the real-life situations, the real-world game plan situations where a barrel looks good, but if you line out to the center fielder, you don't exactly want somebody who just hits lineouts. As Lagarina, don't get me wrong, excellent hitter. And, that's why he's batting sixth on this Mullica Hill team. He has earned that. But at the same time, you have to consider from a recruiting standpoint, you look at these in-game clips and in-game, reels and highlights and replays, and you look at that and you say, well, he barreled it up good. He just lined out to the center fielder. He'll get him next time. So, a line out in that situation, it shows that he can barrel up the ball well, even if that isn't the result that you would have wanted. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again, and this isn't my quote, but, you can fail 7 out of 10 times in baseball and be a Hall of Fame caliber player. In high school, you can fail 6 out of 10 times and be Player of the Year candidate. That one goes down the right field line as the throw gets away. It's in no man's land. It keeps on rolling. He is going to go all the way to third on what's going to be a 2-base error. As Josh Herner gets a break of a lifetime as that ball just kept on rolling into right field, and Mullica Hill has the go-ahead run 90 feet away on just one play. That one is poked into center field, and that will give Mullica Hill the lead back. An RBI single off the bat of Shoiba will make it a 4-3 game for the black and yellow. Here's Nacarelli now, out of the left-hand batter's box. That one is downstairs, 1-0. But yeah, we were talking about the Major League Draft, and 2 famous Red Sox sons were selected earlier today. Angel Martinez, the son of Angel Ramirez, the son of Manny Ramirez, was selected in the 16th round by the Angels out of Tennessee, and D'Angelo Ortiz, who is the son of David Ortiz, was drafted in the 20th round by the Red Sox, his father's old team. That one goes behind Nacarelli, and Shoiba started to break for third, but holds up at second. That was a real shocker for me for Ortiz, because he was one of the first players that I started watching and, was a fan of when I started following baseball in 2015-ish, 9 years ago when I was, an elementary school kid. David Ortiz was in the twilight of his career, those final years. And it's hard to believe that his son is now old enough to get drafted by his dad's old team. Nacarelli grounds out and advances Shoiba to third for out number 2. For Joey McDonald. McDonald on the first pitch, taps this one out towards third. The throw to first on the leap is in time. Mullica Hill disagrees We'll have to look back at the tape on that one. Not that it'll do anything, but the side is retired. Mullica Hill, however, does not go home empty-handed. They end the third with an RBI off the bat of Evan Scheuber. It's 4-3 after 3. Here from Pittman. We'll be right back.
McDonald on the first pitch taps this one out towards third. The throw to first on the leap is...
All right, top of the fourth inning. The left-hander for the Mullica Hill Club, McNatty, still dealing here with a first pitch strike to Corey Jenkins. Start out the fourth at the top of the card. 1, 2, and 3. Jenkins, Franks, and Burnley. It's outside. It is time for DWB Trivia Time. Today's question is, when was the first year that Wrigley Field held night games? They did not hold night games for a good portion, if not 70, 80% of their team's history. But the options tonight are A, 1988, B, 2003, C, 1964, or D, 1979. The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the fourth inning. 4-3 game in favor of Mullica Hill here at the top of the fourth. Yeah, bugs are attacking us out here.
Big game.
Bugs are anti-DWB. Jenkins 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. Takes a breaking ball inside. But yeah, looking at that replay, it's a little inconclusive. I mean, I thought McDonald was safe, but it also doesn't help that the camera was transitioning over to first base, and there is a little bit of a blur on it, so it's not exactly clear, because by the time we get there, he's already like a step past first. Jenkins fouls it back. And some fans filing in for the nightcap game. Like we said, if you finish these 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th innings in the next hour, you'll probably start maybe at 8 o'clock. But I would say, honestly, that's best case scenario. I mean, the first inning alone took almost 25 minutes. Oh, wait, no, audio's fine. Yeah. That is a walk to Jenkins. And here is Logan Franks. Good game so far tonight. Just the pace of play has not done anyone any favors. As here comes Mullica Hill for a mound visit and potential pitching change. Not sure yet. So we will have a mound visit and a pitching change here in the top of the fourth inning. Mullica Hill leads 4-3. We'll be right back. Is the other one starting to sing?
Whew. Matt Kelly, the new pitcher for Mullica Hill. Didn't have the first name on the roster, so I had to consult with the outfielders. Chris Wolf didn't know his name. He knew his last name was Kelly, but had to get some extra consultation there. As the final line for, running up a hill is not easy here at Alcyon, but final line for McNatty is 2 strikeouts and 3 runs in 3 innings of work and a handful of walks to go with that. Looping breaking ball. Throw over to first, not in time. Close call. Matt Kelly, a class of 25 out of Timber Creek. Throw over to first, not in time. Also the kicker for the Timber Creek football team. That one is hitting the left field, diving, and not going to have a play. So that will be a base hit for Burnley. Or excuse me, for Franks, as a walk and a single bring up Burnley, who is 1 for 1, a walk and a double. As Ryan Joseph awaits on deck. Burnley almost dragged one out to left field, hit off the base of the wall, and got a double out of it. But I think Mullica Hill is realizing, this is no easy task. These guys have played each other before, and now they're playing, they're playing this with the season on the line. Not an easy task whatsoever to hold these guys off. When the momentum right now, let's be honest, is in their court. They have had the more recent offensive outburst, and they've got 2 runners on, nobody out. They forced Mullica Hill into a pitching change. Right now, the momentum is ever so slightly swaying in the favor of the visitors. But you got to remember that these guys aren't out of the woods. Neither team is out of the woods. They've got a date with Washington Township, at the conclusion of game 1. So these guys still have another 7 innings to play and a total of 11 frames tonight, including the remainder of game 1. So, for Scott and Miles, the 2 head coaches on these clubs, you've got to consider load management here. GT only has 1 guy on their bench, and that's Nick Record. I don't know if you sub out Blessy for game 2 or if you sub out Sang or somebody in the outfield, or even use Record as a bullpen option. But when you have just a handful of guys that aren't playing the field, you don't have a lot of reserves. Right now, Mullica Hill has 4 or 5 reserves that they can deal with, either as bullpen options or as mop-up reserves. But you want to have everybody get playing time, especially in something like Legion, where I'm not saying the stakes are low, but they're certainly not what it would be for a college or state championship. These guys are playing summer ball to get recruited, and especially in many cases, find a new home for like a 2 or 4 year school, because these guys are mostly either high school graduates, high school seniors that have just graduated this past year, or high school juniors that are now rising seniors. So the age bracket is a lot older. It's almost like watching a little all-star team, if you will. You see people from different schools. You see people that in April and May would be bitter rivals for their high school teams, and then once the summer hits, they join these Legion clubs, and they play for their local communities. Poked out towards left and foul off the bat of Burnley. He's had a couple of close calls with a homer tonight, but nothing yet. Upstairs at the letters. And it's 1-2 to Burnley. But Gloucester Township has impressed me so far. They had a bit of a slow start. They left 4 runners on base in the first 2 frames, and now they've really turned it around, and their offense has been consistently good. These guys are in their 3rd rotation of the order for what could be a high-scoring game if Burnley brings in these 2 runs, and if Mullica Hill, this is a back-and-forth game. Mullica Hill had 3, GT had 3. Mullica Hill had 1, Gloucester Township has a chance to bring one home here on a double steal. And both runners will be standing with no throw. So that brings 2 runners into scoring position and makes the sweetness of a run even better for Gloucester Township and their Baby Blues. But I have always been a huge fan of American Legion baseball, and I'm kicking myself a little bit after seeing this game that we didn't do more American Legion this summer. You know, we reached out to Gloucester Township, just had some scheduling conflicts that didn't work out, and there were a couple other programs that, you know, we wanted to get in touch with, but just didn't have the time. Like with Brooklawn, you know, Brooklawn's basically a summer Gloucester Catholic team. Let's be honest here. You know, that's basically the Gloucester Catholic, not school sponsored, but you know, you've got the entire Gloucester Catholic baseball team on those Brooklawn clubs, and they had enough for 2 this year, the Brooklawn Red and the Brooklawn Blues. But hey, the more the merrier. And you know, these guys are representing their local communities, and this is what summer ball should be. You're representing your local communities. You're playing at these local parks. It's a very low-key setting. You know, there's not a whole lot of fans here, but the vibe is really laid back. And these guys are, you know, they're playing for their personal pride, they're playing for their local pride. I have never been a huge fan of these, you know, pay-to-play and pay-to-win travel tournaments, you know, where you see all these teams that show up, you know, they pay like $5,000 for every team, you know, maybe every player chips in a couple $100, and that comes out of the parents' pockets. You know, they play in these faraway places. They play in Georgia, they play in Tennessee, they play in New York at Cooperstown or whatever, and they play in these expensive travel tournaments where the players basically have no camaraderie. They only know each other for a couple of months, and you know, they travel together, sure, but they don't have that time to build up the rapport that you need, especially for the younger kids that are, you know, 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, as that will be the 3rd strikeout for Mullica Hill's pitching staff, first for Matt Kelly, and there is 1 away. Burnley is retired. As just a quick visit here for Ryan Joseph. But yeah, like I sometimes feel bad for the kids that are in these, you know, huge travel tournaments, because they've got a childhood. You know, and they're training 24/7, and I tell people all the time, you know, I see these kids being trained to the bone and not having any time to rest and relax, and I think about, you know, what Major League Scout watches a 12-year-old game? What collegiate scout watches a 12-year-old game? None. That doesn't exist. Even for middle school, you don't see any of that until you're an upperclassman in high school. Until any professional or collegiate eyes would be looking at you. So the development starts so early for the kids that, you know, sometimes you have to look at the bigger picture and ask yourself, you know, what is this all for? Because there's some organizations that are really just in it to make money off of these prohibitively expensive travel tournaments that prevents some kids from getting the proper recruiting exposure that they need when they are genuinely good ball players, when these pay-to-win tournaments, you know, aren't really run on the basis of a local community. They're not really run on the backbone of any, you know, stable compass. They're the Destroyers, they're the Bombers, they're the Sluggers, whatever, some intimidating name. These guys don't have a name. They're Mullica Hill and they're Gloucester Township. They represent the post and the Legion that they play for. And this ball is going to represent a fly out in center field, and it's actually going to drop in center. I thought that ball was gone for a second. It's going to bring home a first run and a second run as Ryan Joseph with 3 RBIs for GT, and he turns the tide for the Baby Blues, and it's going to be 5-4 on a 2-run double to deep center. Yeah, I got a little excited there. That had a good angle. I thought that had a chance, especially with the wind being a little inconsistent today. But alas, it is 5-4, even if Gloucester Township would have wanted a little more out of that. Their offense has been red hot since the 3rd inning. You know, these last 2 frames, they have been on fire. They batted 8 in the third, and now are on their 5th batter of the 4th with only 1 out recorded. Some haze or some clouds are coming over the parking lot here. I saw them kind of brewing in the distance a little bit. We were a little worried because South Jersey does have a severe thunderstorm watch and the air quality alert, as Seng grounds this one into left field, and after being denied twice, we'll finally get to see Khalil Seng on the bases with a single to left. That moves Ryan Joseph to third. That is the 9th hit of the afternoon for Gloucester Township. They've got 5 runs on 9 hits, 2 errors in the field. Meanwhile, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 total hits on 4 runs for Mullica Hill. They've also got a handful of errors in the field. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School, the #1 spot in South Jersey to make sure that you or your child pass their New Jersey State road test. Over 95% of students pass their Harper driving test on the first try. If you like those odds, book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, right off of Lambs Road. Of course, Tim Rue, big figure down here in Pittman, the father of Hudson Rue, who is the starting shortstop for the Pittman Panthers. And of course, Tim is the head coach at Williamstown Boys Golf, a team that had 19 wins last year, and that's going to be a balk. Seng was already running anyway, but because of the balk, everybody advances and Joseph scores. And that's frustrating for Matt Kelly there. Don't want that to happen to anybody, but especially with that runner on third, that turns a bad situation worse, as now your offense has more work to do in the middle innings. Don't get me wrong, the offensive production is there, but you don't want to have to use all of that. You don't want to have to blow them out of the water. You want to do whatever you can to, to make it a good game, but not one where you're wearing yourself out. And Mullica Hill, for the 2nd time tonight, will have to play the comeback game. But it's 6-4 Mullica Hill after the run scored, the insurance run scored on the balk. 0-2 to Jordan Spilla, with Diana, the first baseman, on deck. Oh, 2. That one skips in the dirt. That'll get Seng to third. He's going to round third, take a big halt, and hold there. What's shocking is that Seng got to third on 0 stolen bases, because when he advanced to second, that was on a balk, so his stolen base attempt was nullified because the ball was whistled, or not whistled dead, but called dead, called off, if you will. And then he got to third on a wild pitch. 2-2. High chopper, tomahawks it back to the mound. Kelly drops it, and he drops for an error. a convoluted play all around, but Spilla is going to get aboard on what is going to be scored as an E1. I mean, maybe I'm being a little generous, but I did score that Ryan Joseph fly ball as a 2-run double. I think that there's other scorekeepers that could have called it as an E8 in center field. Honestly, it's one of those things that in the scorekeeping world can go either way. But now Diana bats with traffic on, and Kelly has issues here. In a 4-run frame for Gloucester Township, the biggest offensive outburst by any team tonight, in what is now a 7-4 game. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Again, don't forget to stay tuned for the nightcap of tonight's festivities. The winner of tonight's game will play Washington Township post 521 in the Camden County American Legion Championship. Swing and a miss. Kelly has his second strikeout, and it comes at the hands of Diana. 2 away. Here is Zachary Holland. So Holland looking to help himself out, as he has done many times this game, not only on the hill, but also with a base hit in the first and a fielder's choice that did bring home a run in the 3rd inning. Runner on first, 2 outs here for Gloucester Township, as there's a strike. One to the number 8 hitter, Holland. Kind of running with that old Joe Madden style lineup for Miles Taylor, where he would have the pitcher bat 8th and have an outfielder or somebody of speed bat in the 9 spot, kind of to introduce 2 leadoff hitters, if you will. The Reds did that significantly as well in the 2010s with Billy Hamilton and a handful of other speedsters out there. As here's a pop-up to third, caught, and the side is retired. But Gloucester Township puts a beating on and extends their lead to 3. So, how the tables have turned. It's 7-4 going to the bottom of the 4th after an 8-batter frame for GT. We'll be right back.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Well, I wouldn't have thought that Zachary Holland would be in this position in the 4th inning, but gosh darn it, he's here. It's 7-4 Gloucester Township in the bottom of the 4th, as a huge turnaround for the blue and white. As they were down 3-0 after 1, they scored 3 runs to tie the game and have now taken a 7-4 lead. This one slices down the right field line and foul. Count is 1-1 to Mullica Hill's Brendan Lockery, who gets the party started in the bottom of the 4th. Lockery gets on top of this one and ropes it in the center field. He is 3 for 3. 3 base hits, all back up the middle. This is exactly what Mullica Hill wants out of their leadoff man. Somebody who gets offense started in the best way possible. And in all 3 of his at-bats tonight, he was the leadoff hitter. So, you know, he has been an excellent tone setter and part of the reason why Mullica Hill has gotten so far. It's inside to Gavin Weiner, and it's 1-0. It's time for DWB trivia time. The question that we raised in the top half of the inning was, when was the first year that Wrigley Field in Chicago introduced night games? Was it, oh, hold on here, Weiner, fly ball straightaway center. Khalil Singh is there, and there is 1 away. So Weiner now 0 for 3 on the afternoon, 1 away. The options are A, 1988, B, 2003, C, 1964, or D, 1979. Vincent Folk, the producer for tonight's game. You got to guess.
It's either D or A I'm in between, but go with D on a limb.
You should have gone with your gut. It was A. 1988 was the first year that Wrigley Field held night games, one of the last major league stadiums to implement it, but it was also a result of the fact that there was, you know, with Chicago being deep in those urban routes in Chicago, didn't have a lot of space for it. It's kind of like how Audubon has no lights at their field, partially because there's a whole bunch of houses around it, and Chicago eventually said, well, we're the only team in baseball that doesn't have lights at their stadium, so we might as well start now. Of course, Fenway Park, built around the same time as Wrigley Field, opened in 1912. Wrigley Field opened in 1911. 113 years old, but Wrigley Field, obviously with that famous Ivy in center field, and he's out at second base. So a quick pickup out as Lockery tries to steal but gets gunned down. And Chris Wolf no longer has anyone to work with here. Yeah, so 2 outs now as Chris Wolf at the plate. He homered in the first inning, a 2-run shot to right. The 33rd home run on DWB this year. 340 feet to right. Washington Township players have arrived. They're now grabbing bats in the cages. Of course, Glassboro baseball head coach Anthony Korma, the leader of this Washington Township club, as that one is ball 4. To Chris Wolf. So after Lockery got cut down at second base, with Torreno now. And that one is hitting the left field. And that's going to be a knock for Enrico. for Enrico Tofano. And now Josh Herner will bat. Holland still going though, and no arms in the Gloucester Township bullpen. There is Washington Township getting their first swings, getting their first looks. Looks like Stephen Devaney's over there in the 1. He knows Alcyon Park all too well. 135 hits, the all-time hits leader at Pittman, and the commit to Division III Immaculata University. So a single that was cut down by a stolen base attempt, a fly out to left, a walk, and a single. Have Herner in business with 2 on and 2 out. Herner lines it into left. That's a base hit. Runner rounds third, but he'll hold. And Josh Herner gets a base hit for Mullica Hill and makes things very interesting and precarious for Rob Lagarena, excuse me. So now head coach Miles Taylor comes out. He'll talk to Holland, and whether he stays in the game is unsure, but obviously he's been rattled a little bit. The question is, who do you have in the bullpen that you can hold on to, and how are you going to work on load management in game 2? Because right now the thinking is, if Gloucester Township advances, you've got a 30-minute turnaround. You sit down for a couple minutes, you warm up, and you got to play Washington Township. So it will not be easy. But it looks like Holland will stay in. Taylor will give him his vote of confidence. That was the 10th hit of the night for Mullica Hill. As that kind of goes to show, 4 runs on 10 hits. You know, not every opportunity has been fulfilled, so it will be a great thing here for Mullica Hill if they can at least, even if you don't take the lead in this frame, you have a little bit of time to work with. You know, you've got the 5th, you've got the 6th, and you've got the 7th. Right now you're sitting at 10 outs to go. So what you've got to do is, you know, think about this like a chess game. Step by step, piece by piece. It's 7-4 now, but a base hit can make it 7-6. A double can tie the game at 7-7. Even a walk can make it 7-5. You know, there's a million different possibilities with what's possible at this point in time. And especially because you're not facing the bottom of the order. After Lagarena, you still have Shoiba, who's an excellent hitter. You've still got Nacarelli, and you've still got the very respectable Joey McDonald. So you've got a million different ways to go with this. And if you want to continue to rattle Holland, that might not be the move. It's popped up behind the plate. He's going to have a play, and it is caught, inning over. So a sigh of relief and a half for Gloucester Township, as what could have been disaster ends up being just a scratch. They leave the bases loaded, and it's 7-4 after 4 here in Pittman. We'll be right back.
Has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp.
Tiernan Blessey is the first bat in the fifth for Gloucester Township as they look to extend their lead in a 7-4 game. That one is a ball. Blessey rockets it foul. We were talking about earlier Alcyon Park having a long history of both motorsports and bat and ball sports, with Alcyon hosting a couple of local stock car races back when that was in its infancy. In its infancy in the 1940s. It was a race in one of the competing series in the time that was competing with the great NASCAR, National Automobile Stock Car Association. I forget what the R stands for, but National American Stock Car National American Stock Car Auto Racing. There we go, NASCAR. But yeah, I mean, NASCAR was founded in 1949, and that was one of the final years that stock car racing was run here at Alcyon. NASCAR never ran a race in their Grand National Series or in any Cup Series of any sort at the third of a mile short track, which mostly was along this as Blessey is going to strike out swinging, and he is tagged out by Lockery, one away. That grass field that the soccer pitch is now at is mostly where the NASCAR track was in the 30s and 40s, and there's a couple of ledges over at the soccer field that have those bricks next to them, and they were where the grandstands were, and the front stretch and the start-finish line was right around in the middle of that, where the first turn probably dipped into this baseball field. It went around and did a triangle shape, went into the parking lot, and then went back around for a third of a mile. But it closed in 1951 and was torn down. And in 1955, when the new complex was built, there was an exhibition game played between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Alcyon All-Stars, a mix of Phillies players back when they were called the Whiz Kids, and a bunch of South Jersey exhibition players that they played here at Alcyon Park in 1955. Back when it was Connie Mack's team, and they played at Shibe Park in Philadelphia. As a pop-up is going to drop. Wow. There were 4 guys going for it, and none came up with it. That's surprising, but that's a base hit. So Corey Jenkins breaks his offer with his first hit of the night, as here is Logan Franks. I mean, that's not the first time we've seen Mullica Hill have a gaffe of some sorts in the outfield. Their defense just does not seem to be on the same page. Throw over to first, not in time. I mean, their offense has been incredibly fluid. You know, they can barrel up the ball really well, but they have to string something together. Yes, they've scored 4 runs, but 3 of them were in the first inning off of a very vulnerable Zach Holland. He needed time to settle in, and Holland did settle in, and now is, you know, doing good for himself and holding his own. But, you know, they were up by 3. The world was great, but then Gloucester Township, you know, came roaring back into town, and the momentum has been in their hands ever since. And even though that base hit by Jenkins will be scored in the books as a hit, it should be noted that the defensive efficiency has not been there. I mean, you had 4 guys go for a baseball and nobody touched it. It fell almost equilaterally in front of all of them. So you can have the greatest offense in the world, and you can have some great pitching with McNaughty and, you know, Matt Kelly and everybody out there, Palumbo, whoever you've got. But if you don't have the defense to back up when the ball is hit in play in a game where both teams are exceptionally great at putting the ball in play, then you're not going to be up for a good time. Time is called. And that's not to knock Mullica Hill. That's not to knock them in any way. You know, I'm just reporting on what I see, and what I see is that, you know, their defense is a touch at a step, and, you know, like, they have some plays like that where it's unavoidable. He steals a base, the pitch was inside, not much you can do about that. But, you know, the plays where they're having trouble picking up routine ground balls, they're having trouble on routine fly balls, and the outfield, you know, on something that has the slightest bit of difficulty, you know, it's something that they've got to work on. And they've had the regular season to do so. And sometimes it's just the grace under pressure that wins championships. Sometimes when you have what it takes when it matters most, that's all you need. You know, you can trudge along in the regular season, but if you don't have what it takes in games where it's win or go home, then you're not going to be up for a good time. Washington Township is going to be hitting for a while in those cages down the third base line. They're still hanging out there, backwards caps and everything, for post 521. That's a ball called. Game started at 5:20, so we just hit the 2-hour mark in the top of the 5th inning. Good chance we probably get to 2:30, 2:45. I mean, it's 7:20 now, so if the game ends at 8:20, we might not have a start time until 9 o'clock. Down the line, foul. That one almost hit a Washington Township player out there. But the count is full to Logan Franks. He's got Corey Jenkins of Highland on second, and a chance to extend the lead for GT after a 4-run frame with 8 batters in the 4th. Another throwback to second. Not in time. Jenkins dives back. Strike 3 called, an enthusiastic strike 3. I think the umpire was also trying to get his black belt in Taekwondo, but that is out number 1.
Quiet, peaceful.
It's quiet, peaceful. You can hear a pin drop, and then the umpire goes for a not just a strike 3, but also a round kick. Jenkins now caught between second and third. The ball went into the outfield, and Jenkins will advance to third. It's the little things. I mean, it's things like that where pickoff throws are wild. Simple plays like that, they're just not making what they have to do. And they can do it just fine in April and May, so this is not typical for Mullica Hill. They're usually very sound, at least when you put each of these players individually on a baseball field. They are all very sound. They are all very, consistently good defensive players. And obviously this is my first time watching a full Mullica Hill game this year, so this could be the norm, but I would assume it's not, considering that the amalgamation of 9 guys they have on the field are all very good ball players. So there's just something in the air tonight that's throwing some people off. But Gloucester Township with Corey Jenkins on third and 1 away. Following the strike 3 called against Franks, the 3rd strikeout in relief for Matt Kelly, the 5th total for Mullica Hill tonight. Outside. It doesn't help that zone has been very tight. I mean, I obviously don't have the best vantage point, considering that we are down the right field line and not in center or left center, where we'd have a better angle. But it just does seem like it's a little bit hitter friendly, which is why we've had 8 walks total between the 2 teams tonight. There's a strike. Count is 3-1 to Burnley, the number 3 hitter for Gloucester Township. As Mullica Hill is going to try to lock in and prevent any more damage from being held against them. That's a swing and a miss. Count is now back to 3-2. So, 2 outs in the top of the 5th. 2 strikeouts this frame, 1 for Blessy and 1 for Franks. So they will try to hold Gloucester Township scoreless for the first time since the 2nd inning. But he's got a full count to work with as Burnley calls time. Popped up, shallow right center. Weiner's got it, side retired. So 9 hits in 5 frames for Gloucester Township, and for the first time since the 2nd, they are held scoreless. We go to the bottom of the 5th from Pittman, still 7-4 in favor of the visiting Gloucester Township Legion. We'll be right back.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Nick Record, the new pitcher out of Triton Regional. The left-hander starting it off in the bottom of the 5th versus Mullica Hill. As Mullica Hill's going to try to slug their way back into this one, and they get a good start with a base hit into center. Sang has it. And a knock right back up the middle, wasting no time, and one pitch for Record as a base hit. So Shoiba now 2 for 2, 2 singles and a walk. Bringing up Nacarelli. He is 0 for 2 with a ground out and an E6. He reached on an error in his first at-bat. From the left-handed box, takes inside. Don't forget, our next broadcast will be 7 o'clock tomorrow as the Tri-County Baseball League opens up their playoff round with the qualifying round between the South Jersey Grizzlies and the Vineland Gartons from Vineland High School down in Cumberland County. Tune in at 7 o'clock as the Tri-County Baseball playoffs get underway. We are officially 44 days away from DWB football kickoff between Palmyra and Riverside. If you haven't seen yet, our Instagram and Twitter both have pinned posts for our DWB football schedule. 21 games in 9 different counties, or excuse me, in 5 different counties with teams representing 9 different counties. That one is hit out towards left field. Caught in left, one away. And Nacarelli is retired. He is 0 for 3, bringing up the number 9 hitter, Joey McDonald. He has 2 ground outs and is 0 for 2 on the night. But, of course, our first 2 games, Friday and Thursday. Thursday to 29th, Palmyra Riverside, and Friday to 30th, Collingswood and Clayton. Line drive, base hit, no foul. My apologies. And then we've got a triple header weekend in week 1 of the season in the first week of September. Thursday, September 5th is a rare Thursday 4 p.m. football game between Gateway and Haddon Township. Friday the 6th is going to be a classic under the Friday Night Lights, not too far from here, between Timber Creek and Kingsway in some big school action. And Saturday, September 7th is going to be our first of 4 games with Woodbury, as we have signed a full season deal to be their provider of live streams for home football games in 2024. Saturday, September 7th will be the Haddonfield Bulldogs and the Woodbury Thundering Herd from the classic Woodbury football field at 10:30 a.m. on the 7th. This could be 2 out towards short, picked up for 1, flipped and thrown. Its throw is spiked to first. McDonald is going to round first. Now he's got to go back to the bag, and he circles back in time. So they get 1, do not get the second, and that could have been disaster for Joey McDonald. He had turned to the left, which would have meant that he had motioned towards second base. We've seen that play be a little controversial in recent years and in the entirety of baseball history, where if you turn towards second base, you are considered a live runner in play, and if you want to go back to the bag, you are a live runner. You have to be tagged before going back to first base. So 2 outs, and McDonald is on for Lockery, who is 3 for 3. And for the first time tonight is not batting as a leadoff hitter. He has not batted once with base runners on here in tonight's contest. Throw over, not in time. McDonald goes, throw down to second base is going to 1-hop and trickle out towards second, but nothing further into center field. So Lockery 3 for 3 with 3 singles, and Weiner 0 for 3 with 2 flyouts and a ground out tonight. But Record looking to get out of it with no runs allowed. That's hit off the knob of the bat. How about that? There's nobody covering first. Record slides. Throw to first is in time. How about that? For for a conundrum at first base. Nick Record slid on his knees after the ball was hit off the knob of the bat, and in the most Philadelphia Phillies way to end an inning, Mullica Hill gets held scoreless. We're through 5, and Nick Record makes himself known here in Pittman with a nice defensive play on what will be scored as a 1-3. It's 7-4 after 5 in favor of Gloucester Township. A.J. Ward of Kingsway is the new pitcher for Mullica Hill as we kick off the 6th inning with a ball to Joseph. It's Joseph, Singh, and Jordan Spilla, the first baseman. There's a strike, but what a weird way to end the inning. Did we show the replay of the... Yeah, let's take a look after this at-bat of the replay of an incredible play with Nick Record making a sliding, confusing play as Joseph will ground out to second. Weiner makes the play 1 away. Let's take a look at that DWB instant replay of that.
But Record looking to get out of it with no runs allowed. That's hit off the knob of the bat. How about that? There's nobody covering first. Record slides. Throw to first.
Khalil Singh, the new batter with 1 away. But what a funky play that was. It just looked like both of the guys were going for the ball at the same time, and then one realized, oh, one of us has to cover first. The other one has to go get the baseball, or else this guy's going to get on. So, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if that situation happens, you're just going to have heads collide, and you're going to get a runner on. But that was smart there to kind of pull the plug early and make the decision. I'm going first. You get the ball. It wasn't a pretty play by any means. It's not the most fluid play you're ever going to see, but it worked and made a highlight reel. That one's fouled back by Singh, putting some good barrels on it, but as we said, he got to third in the 4th, ended up being stranded as a part of that 4-run frame. But But he is 1 for 3 tonight, a ground out, a strikeout, and a single in that order. Jammed and fouled. We got somebody throwing from up against a net. And this one is hit well into left. It'll stay in the ballpark. And McDonald in center has that one for out number 2. But this is exactly what you need from Gloucester Township here if you're Mullica Hill. You know, your offense needs a jump start and you need something to get you going. You've got a new pitcher in the game. You know, you kind of have a fresh start after Matt Kelly. So with the bottom of the 6th coming up, you've got 2 outs, you've got nobody on, and you've got your 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Now, Weiner is 0 for 3, but Chris Wolf homered, and trouble with that one, but he gets the play done and the side is retired. That would have been a very bad error if Mullica Hill did not pull that off. Well, we go to the bottom of the 6th, and Mullica Hill has a chance to capitalize on a scoreless frame from Gloucester Township. They trail by 3 down to their final 6 outs. Covered by a couple leaves there, but the Pittman Water Tower, one of 2 water towers, taking over the borough of Pittman as the lefty record lifts a fly ball in the left field on the first pitch. Oh, a huge collision in center field. Where's the ball? He's got the ball! Oh! He's at second base. Weiner's at second base. Are they going to say he dropped the ball? But a huge collision in left and center. I'm not sure. It wasn't clear, but Franks and Singh got together and are clearly a little banged up. Coach Miles Taylor coming out for that one. Singh and Singh and Franks with a huge hit left center field. Gavin Weiner at second base, being talked to by a couple of Gloucester Town. Yeah, that was a weird play because it just didn't. I didn't hear anybody call for it. In a high school game, I would have been able to say, "Oh, it was too loud. I couldn't hear anybody call for it." But there's not a lot of people here, and if either of them had called loudly enough for it, you would have heard it. So that's where I'm a little hung up on it, but I don't see the ball coming out of his glove either. That's at least what I saw like live. I saw the white cap, which from a distance, you know, kind of looked like an inflated baseball, but Gavin Weiner is going off of second base, and I believe that he is either heading back to the dugout because he's out or heading out because the player Kalel Singh is injured, and yeah, he'll get back up. So let's take a look at that DWB instant replay on that fly ball to left center by Gavin.
Taking over the burrow of Pittman as the lefty record lifts a fly ball in the left field on the first pitch. Oh, a huge collision in center field. Where's the ball? He's got the ball.
Yeah, I looked at that a couple times. I don't see anything that suggests that the ball came out of Logan Frank's glove. And miraculously, Kalel Singh is staying in the game in center field. He probably got the wind knocked out of him, is my guess. But Chris Wolf, who homered in the first, is at the dish versus the lefty record. Fouls that one back. 1-1. Yeah, you could see Singh is kind of keeled over and or kilted. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong word. Bent over in center field, holding his left hip. And at best, as Wolf is gonna get a ball to first, throw over is in, no, not in time. That was the last clap contest right there. That person is specially trained in clapping when American Airlines flights land. Did you say you're one of those, Vince? Did you say you're in that crowd?
I heard people do it on my flight.
It's common practice. People clap when the plane lands, except when it's like Spirit or Frontier, you know.
You're just happy you made it to the
You're happy you made it, yeah. No, but there was one time where I clapped when the plane landed, and that was when it was a really bad storm. Plane basically had to come in sideways, and we had to loop around twice because of how bad the storms were. And I was on the plane with none of my parents. I was like 12 years old. I was with my cousin, and it was really bad, and it was a Spirit flight. So I was terrified. I started saying my prayers and everything, and when the plane landed, it was a smooth landing. For being in a terrible storm, it was a great landing. So I applauded, as everyone else did. And we can applaud this base hit into center field. It's going to get past Tiernan in right field. That's going to bring Wolf to second base. Or excuse me, Wolf is going to round third. He will score. And now getting all the way to third on a convoluted triple by Enrico Tofano makes it 7-5. And they've got one out in this frame, and you got to imagine if Weiner had that hit count as a double, you'd have a one-run game right now, and we'd all be talking about Mullica Hill staging a great comeback. But they are just in the beginning. That one is hit well into center field. Singh backpedaling. He makes the catch. Enrico Tofano will tag, and the sac fly will be successful. It's 7-6 as Josh Herner brings home the run, and this game gets ever so closer with the swing of a bat. But now the bases are clear, and they'll have to go back with their 4 outs remaining. With Lagarina now. Two runs have come across this inning. First pitch strike. He is 0 for 3 tonight, has a fielder's choice and 2 pump outs otherwise. But as we said, Gloucester Township had held them to 7 runners left on base. That one is at short. Throw across, not in time. He got pulled off the bag. He barely got pulled off the bag at first. And now taking a second to get up. Did that hit somebody? It took a weird ricochet in the infield. Did it hit Record or did it hit the mound?
I think it hit right off the glove.
It might have hit off of the glove of Record. He did try to reach for that one and get it in. But just off of the naked eye, the ball was traveling too fast, and the ricochet was quite a wild one. But the first base hit of the night does not leave the infield. As Evan Scheuber, 2 for 2, 2 singles and a walk, has a chance to make some magic here. Swing and a miss. He's swinging like he wants that magic right in his bat, which we'll call his wand. 0-1. Breaking ball at the letters. 1-1. Two one. Fouled back and it's 2-2. That's a line drive. That goes to short, and Jenkins will tag the bag himself. Progress made, but now we're down to the final straw. 6 innings through, and it's a 7-6 ball game as Scheuber grounds out into a fielder's choice to retire the side. They made progress, don't get me wrong, but they've got one more run to make up. It's 7-6 after 6 in favor of Gloucester Township. We'll be right back. Top of the 7th inning, a first pitch swing and miss by Diana, with the 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up. Diana, Holland, and Blessy. Up and in. 1-1. Mullica Hill does have a right-hander throwing long tosses. And another swing and a miss by Diana, 1-2. But this is your lockdown inning for Mullica Hill. You've already stopped the bleeding on the defensive side of the ball. You know, you've given yourself plenty of opportunities to get back into this game, and you've done it. You were down by 3 runs, now you're down by 1, and after, you know, some questionable plays in the outfield and in the infield, you've now cleaned up your act a little bit, which is nice to see. You like to see a team evolve over the course of a ball game and go from something that, you know, wasn't really themselves and then turned into a formidable act that is now 1 run away from tying this game up and 2 runs away from being the team to have their date with Washington Township. But you also have to consider, if you're Washington Township, you're keeping close eyes on this game, as that is ball 4. Because let's think about it this way. Let's say the game ended in 5 innings, like a 15-0 final score. You'd be a little bit more worried about them than you would be about either of these teams, because A, you're not sure who you're going to play in about an hour. You know it's going to be one of the 2 options, obviously, but there's a million different ways that this game can go. Gloucester Township can have another 4-run 4th inning and put this game out of reach. Mullica Hill can stage a comeback in the 7th and take this game home by walk-off. As this one is floated out towards Weiner, he makes the catch, 1 away, and that retires Holland to bring up Tiernan Blessy, the lefty. But my point is that let's say if a game is going way out of hand, your focus is going to start going to the team that you know you're going to play. You think, okay, these are the guys' mannerisms, this is how they pitch, but the work is doubled in a situation like this because you know you have to play one of the 2, but who you're going to play is a complete mystery right now. I think the more even matchup would be Mullica Hill, but at the same time, Gloucester Township has surprised a lot of people. You know, they have a very small organization, you know, very grassroots run, and not to say that Mullica Hill isn't, but they are the smaller team. That's why they are the lower seed in this tournament and are hence playing as the visitor in this semifinal game. Washington Township being the 1 seed, you know, they've got the 1st round bye, and they're playing just 1 game for a championship. If you're Washington Township, you've been here for over an hour now, just warming up, and you get the edge for the fact that you only have to play 1 game. If Gloucester Township wins, they're going to have a 30-minute turnaround turned into another 7 innings that they've got to play. And if that game ends up being another 2 hours, 30 minutes, well, guess what? Let's say this game ends in 15 minutes at 8:15. Well, then you have a 30-minute turnaround. Game starts at 8:45. And then what? You've got another 2 hours. That's 10:45. You might have the game end at 11 o'clock at night. Gets jammed. No, did that hit him? Wow.
Oh, that's crazy.
It either hit him or it was catcher's interference because he took a full swing. It made a funky sound. So my guess is catcher's interference. So we now go back to Jenkins with 2 runners on. Jenkins ropes it in the left. That drops for a base hit. Takes 1 hop. They're going to hold everybody there. Ball gets shuffled around in the infield. And now Corey Jenkins loads the bases for Logan Franks. Jenkins now has reached base for the 3rd time in a row out of 5 at-bats total tonight. Bases loaded. Infield rushing in before this first pitch by Hawk. Check swing. Says yes. That umpire's at second base, so that appeal doesn't help any. Don't have as good of an angle as anyone else. But the bases are loaded, and Mullica Hill could put this game away with one swing, or at least put the game further out of reach. Look out. Fan makes a play over in right field. Did bobble the ball a couple times with the sleeveless tee. The beautiful night, as it has cooled down here at Alcyon Park. Certainly a lot better than 101 degrees when we got here this afternoon at around 4 o'clock. But the fact that this game was scheduled at 5:20 and has now run for 2 hours and 30 minutes. Excuse me, 2 hours and 40 minutes. We've got a long, long night ahead of us. It's funny, we've had the longest DWB baseball game and the shortest DWB baseball game in the same season. Cherry Hill West and Gloucester Catholic was the longest at 3 hours 19 minutes for a 7-inning scrimmage on March 19th. And then the shortest was May 16th between Audubon and Sterling, as a fly ball down the left field line, going over and sliding blocked in front of our view with the light pole. They're going to call that a foul ball. I could not see that because of the light pole. Whatever happened or not, my view was a little obstructed, but either way. That could have been disastrous for Mullica Hill. They have not had the cleanest night defensively by any means. And you don't want to add to that moniker. You don't want to add to the stereotype that they can't play defense. You want to break that mold. You want to make a couple good plays and distract from that. Infield on the edge of the grass. Everybody playing in, looking for a play at the plate with one out. Inside. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide is the old phrase. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and the base is loaded. A walk makes it a 2-run game, but a ball hit and play could go a million different ways. Let's see what he's got. Left fielder Logan Franks, who has reached base twice tonight on an error and once on a single. Pops this one up, slices it the other way in the shallow right field. Going over, Weiner's got it. Retreating over at first is Herner, as these guys finally were able to talk a little bit and make what almost looked like a disaster in slow motion end up being all right. I mean, that's the history that it's been tonight. You know, not your expectation, but the thought is, what happens if it drops? What happens if it drops? Because you saw that Herner, the first baseman, and Weiner were both going over at the same time for the same ball, and you think, deja vu, here we go again. But they were able to resolve it, and they got out of it. Inside to Burnley. But I think for these guys, those defensive woes are behind them. They've only got 1 more out to work with here, and then they've got 3 of their own on the offensive side of the ball. So there are so many different ways that this inning can go with the bases loaded. Now the infield is playing at normal depth as a line drive in the left, down into the corner, and foul. Past the batting cages and left. I mean, hey, even with the wind not exactly favoring the hitters, the wind has kind of died down now. It was originally blowing somewhat out towards right field, but not egregiously. I mean, Chris Wolf had that home run in the first inning, the only long ball we've seen tonight. But nothing else since, just a lot of singles, a lot of doubles, and a lot of sac flies and fielders' choices. These guys have been playing the chess game on both sides all night. Down. 2-1. Just off the corner. But the lights have been on for a little while now, and it is starting to get a little darker here at Alcyon Park as we reach into the 8 o'clock hour. And a huge swing and a miss. 2-2. So he'll take a second to walk around the box as we will hack at it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the base is loaded. Runner trailing off of third, trying to solicit a balk. 2-2. Fouled back over towards the soccer pitch and into the roundabout. Of course, we'll be back here in the first week of August for the 33rd Annual Carter Cup Championships in the Tri-County Baseball League. Playoffs start tomorrow. And here you go again with Burnley at the dish, who has contributed in many ways tonight. Fouls it back again, and he stays alive. Pitch number 8 of the at-bat on the way. Swing and a miss. A huge strikeout for Hawk. And they leave the bases loaded. Both teams have had trouble with leaving excessive amounts of runners on base, but Mullica Hill will have a chance to prove the record right one more time. They've got 3 outs to score a run, if not 2. And it'll be their 8, 9, and 1. Nacarelli, McDonald, and Lockery, who is 3 for 4 tonight. But stats don't matter anymore. It's just those 3 men. We'll be right back. Bottom of the 7th, 7-6 in favor of Gloucester Township. Bottom of the 7th inning, we will see here who will have a date with Washington Township. Nacarelli is the first. He's 0 for 3. Swing and a miss. Reached on an error his first time, and then grounded out and flew out. One with Nick Record trying to go for a 9-out save. That's a ball. Strike called. Strike 3 on the curveball, but now he's got to go down to first. It went through the catcher's legs. And the throw to first is in time. Nacarelli's retired, 1 away. And that was a skin of the teeth kind of play. Probably shouldn't have been like that, but Record delivers. Down to McDonald. McDonald with 2 ground outs and a fielder's choice tonight. Fouled back. 1-2. From the lefty, he delivers. That's a line drive. Fair. Left field corner. It goes all the way beyond or towards the wall in left field. It did not go past the sign because it was never blown dead, but that is a 1-out double for Joey McDonald. And this game is 180 feet away from being knotted up at 7 apiece. That was the unsung hero right there, and that's what they write about in Hollywood. The number 9 hitter who hadn't really had any success going into tonight and had his own blunders in the outfield. He redeemed himself, and he redeemed himself big time. 1-out double. If they can score here, they'll be all over him tonight, especially if they go on to win this game. Swing and a miss on the first pitch to Lockery. He was a little late on that one. 0-1. He is 3 for 4, had 3 leadoff singles in his first 3 at-bats, but then grounded out on a funky play that was scored as a 1-3. And now a line drive into left field. That is a fair ball. In a cloud of smoke, the game is tied. He will come in to score. Lockery holds at second, and it's a 7-7 game set up by the 1-out double by Joey McDonald. And we are tied at Alcyon. I mean, if there's a player of the game to be had, Brendan Lockery is definitely an option to have. 4 for 5. And not only that, out of the leadoff spot, 3 of his singles were leadoff hits, which started rallies and got runs home. You think about the fact that in the first, he got that leadoff single that sparked a 3-run rally. And then in the second, he got a single, got to third but didn't score. Then he singled in the 5th but was cut down as part of a fielder's choice, but they still scored a handful of runs in that inning, and he got the ball rolling. He got the teammates excited. He got the dugout in the mood, ready to swing, ready to dance, and boy, have they danced tonight. They're 180 feet from winning this ball game and being sent to the Camden County Legion Championship. Of course, Camden County is no stranger to the Legion spotlight, with Brooklawn going to the national championship in North Carolina last year. There's a strike. It's 1-1 to Weiner, who is 0 for 4. So if there's somebody who has needed redemption even more than McDonald has, Weiner has a chance to play hero at the 11th hour. And that's a swing and a miss. He started to run out of the box, but that's 2 strikes. And I think that just goes to show, you know, sometimes you're thinking so much about every pitch that he kind of lost track there. It was a 1-strike count, and that was strike 2, but he ran out of the box like it was a drop 3rd strike. Sometimes you've got to get your head in multiple different places at one time in a situation like this, off of record. Line drive, foul. Didn't exactly barrel it up, but he did enough to get it in the air. Just did not straighten it out. But this has been a heck of a game. Regardless of what you want to say about the length of this one, we are right now running at 2 hours and 54 minutes. It might be all worth it if it means we get a walk-off winner. Keep in mind, use the second link on our YouTube page for the Camden County Legion finals that will start approximately 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. That one is high. 2-2. And the pitch. Weiner fouls it back again. Still 2-2 as it goes on to the soccer pitch. But Record has been in so many high leverage situations tonight, and he has excelled in most of them. Now just needs a couple more to go his way, and we'll be headed to extras. The sixth pitch of the at-bat. Weiner's looking to make it his last. He's going to poke that one into left field. That'll be a base hit. Lockery will hold it third. They're going to play it safe here, which I respect 100%. I think that it was a bit of an aggressive send for your leadoff catcher, but they did exactly what they should do. The ball is in their court here. The infield will come in, and Miles Taylor will come out. I believe that they're making a pitching change for Nick Record. And he's at least just talking to him right now. Obviously, Record a little frustrated. But think of this as a very long-term alley-oop. Weiner just lifted up the ball in the air. Can Wolf make the slam? That is the question. But right now, these guys have the leverage. It's not like they have two outs. They can poke a ball into the infield and break for home if the cards are right. But right now in this current situation, I wouldn't bet on it. You know, maybe with Wolf being as good as he has been tonight, you intentionally walk him and get to Enrico Tufano. But he also is 3 for 4. So do you go with the guy that has a homer, a walk, and a single, and 3 RBIs, or the guy that has 3 singles and 1 RBI? It's kind of like a red pill, blue pill situation here. You've got to pick one either way. But either you're going to face Wolf and face the consequences, or at least get the advantage of a lefty-lefty matchup, or you go to Tufano and put everything on the line and try to hope that Tufano hits the ball on the ground for a play at the plate. Looks like the plan is they'll go with the former. They'll face Wolf, who homered in the first inning. That one is high and in, 1-0. But what did I say about baseball being a chess game? It is a game of inches, it is a game of numbers, and it is one of the best strategy games that you can ever play. As on defensive indifference, they'll let the runner go down to second, and that leaves first base unopposed for Wolf. So that option is now open with a 1-1 count if they want Wolf to walk. If not, you know, Record's in a bit of a problem here, but now all bets are off. It's 1-2. Wolf hit a 2-run home run in the first off of the starter Zachary Holland. Grounded out to 3 unassisted in the second, walked in the fifth, and singled in the sixth. A chance to be the final batter of the game, and he does not have that opportunity just yet. 2-2. Winning run on third. Second runner doesn't matter at this point. 2-2. Foul tip. Did it go into his glove? It did not. Hard to tell with this angle. Even with the lights on, it's a little hard to see on the field, and I've got good eyesight. But Washington Township is ready to go. They're on this on the first base line near the roundabout, waiting to find out who their opponent will be. And a little floater out towards first. And Diana makes the catch in foul territory for out number 2. I mean, hey, they rolled the dice there. I'm going to give it to Record. He was under pressure. He didn't have the cleanest inning, and he had grace under pressure. with Wolf being a lefty, they had the advantage of a lefty-lefty matchup, but they also had a disadvantage of facing the number 3 hitter, who was exceptionally good versus lefties in his time at Clearview. So, Wolf could have ended that game right there, but now the slate is a little cleaner, and the advantage is a lot more even. And they are going to intentionally walk Tefano and bring up Josh Herner. I thought they would have done the opposite. I thought they would have intentionally walked Wolf and went to Tefano, but they've decided to stagger that by 1 and now have the bases loaded, 2 outs, play is at any base that you can make it for Josh Herner, who is 3 for 3 tonight. 3 singles and a sac fly. So he has been productive in all ends of in all facets of the game tonight, in all innings. Strike called. 0-2. Gloucester Township has 17 hits tonight. That's an incredible number for a 7-inning game. Both teams have made exceptional contact with the baseball, and now 3 runners are on, and Record is looking to leave all 3 without a home. 0-2 is low on the curveball. He's got good location on that, but it doesn't have that 12-6 break that you really want. It's kind of like a hybrid curveball and a changeup. It breaks like a curveball, but it has that arc of a changeup. It starts high, it drifts low, but it doesn't snap low. It kind of just drifts its way there. 1-2. Goes back to the curveball, outside corner. Check swing, says no. 2-2. And as we eclipse into the 3-hour mark of tonight's festivities, don't forget we've still got another game to play. Believe it or not. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And strike 3! Not happy about the call at home. And we go to extras. Wow. So it turns out that 7 innings was not enough to determine a winner tonight, as even though as Mullica Hill has 17 hits in 7 frames, Washington Township will have to wait a little longer to determine who their successor will be and who their opponent will be in Game 2. 7-7 after 7. We'll be right back. Hawk still the pitcher for Mullica Hill. There's a strike as we start extra innings. Ryan Joseph, Kalel Seng, and Jordan Spilla, 4, 5, and 6, as even 7 innings could not determine a winner. Down and away. To make it a little brighter, because it is dark out here. It is 8:25. Up and in, Joseph ducks. So let's show, just on my weather app, this is the, see if the forecast will, actually I'm gonna drop the brightness here. So I don't even know if it'll show. I will try to show it as we go along, but there is a band of rain coming through that could put a damper on this whole thing. There's a strike. So this is now. This is what the forecast is looking like right now. If I drop the brightness a little bit, there is a big band of rain coming through. As Joseph swings and misses, there's one away. So here is the rain. Here is weather casting system, but this is where we're at now. This is at about 8:50, and at 9 it's going to be hanging over Central Jersey and North Philly, and then at the end of the hour, let's say 9:20, it'll be headed our way. Now if you look at the 12-hour forecast, it might pop up at 10 p.m. ish. There's a blob right there that might come around at maybe 10. So that's what we're worried about. If this game continues to drag on, there might be an issue of rain coming through, but that is a very thin line that is moving straight to the south, right in front of us. Back-to-back Ks.
Oh, yeah. It's even appearing on the professional app, too. Well, not app, but six ABC's AccuWeather?
Yeah, so, well, I mean, when I left at 3 o'clock this afternoon, it said severe thunderstorm watch, and what you said during the break was that, yeah, there's a thin line coming through that is coming from the northwest and moving to the southeast. Oh, a big collision at short, and another big hit. Wait a second, what? The catcher's all the way out at first base. And the ball went into center field. It's a base hit, but oh man. Spilla with his 3rd hit of the night. The 12th hit of the evening for Gloucester Township compared to Mullica Hill 17. Strike called. Oh and 2 with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Hawk kicks and delivers. Outside, 1 and 2. So yeah, as we were saying, I mean, that line is probably going to come through at about 9:30, 9:45, which is going to cut straight into game 2. Because even if you don't go the whole 30 and you go 20 minutes between game 1 and game 2, you probably start at like 9, and you know you have to get through the rest of this extra inning. What if there's more? I don't know, but these guys aren't going to play to a tie. These guys are going to play until we have a winner. They're going to figure something out, and we're gonna roll along with it, even if it means we're here super late. Fouled back. Not even the first time this month we've had a super late DWB broadcast. The Breakthrough Soccer Tournament back on the 12th ran us all the way to 11:30 p.m. over in West Hampton. A up in quasi-central Jersey. But it's 2-2 with 2 outs and a runner on, still 7-7. But these guys are now kind of in a race against the clock, even though they don't know it, because rain is coming. And it's not just rain, it's one of those rains that have electricity attached to them, or as the laymen call it, thunderstorms. But you were saying in the break, you said if thunderstorms are going to pop up, it's not going to be immediate.
Yeah.
It's going to be immediate. Yeah, the other way around. It's going to be a pop-up storm. So what I'm also worried about is, the fact that these guys are going to be here really late regardless.
Yeah.
So what happens if thunder rains on the parade? I mean, obviously there's a 30-minute delay by default if there's thunder, but within a certain radius there's a 30-minute delay. But also, how late are these guys going to be able to stay around? Because the Alcyon crew is going to have to close the gates at some point, and there's some sort of curfew, as that ball was foul tipped and bounced out of Lockery's glove. So I would imagine there's some sort of system in place that we don't know about, but you have to play this game by X time and X minutes, and if not, you pick it up and you suspend the game, resume it tomorrow. Which, hey, I'm going to be in the area anyway, so we'll have to see. But right now, Central Jersey is getting hit really hard up in Mercer County. As a swing and a miss, he's got to run it out to first. Lockery's not going to have a play. It goes all the way to the dugout. Did it go in the dugout? They're going to say it did not, I don't think. You've got that first base runner way out there. I don't know. He's all the way out there. Is he going to get back on the bag? I guess he was out.
Wait, if he was out there...
Wait, why is he standing over there? I don't know.
Yeah, but there's only 2 outs.
Maybe the ball was caught? I'm not sure.
So we're just going
No, that can't be the case. Because there were already 2 strikeouts.
That's what I'm saying. There's 2 outs already.
Joseph swinging and Seng looking. So he kind of just ran it out and now is standing in the first base coach's batter's box, or in the coach's box, excuse me.
What's going on?
So
1 out. First base was occupied. Can't go on fastball.
Oh. That would do it, yeah. So first base was occupied. Then what do we have wrong then? We'll check back on the footage because we might have made a mistake there. Our apologies. Wouldn't be the first time at Alcyon, but I'll have to take a look at that. Because obviously we must have missed something in the chaos that has conspired in the last couple of innings. There is a swing and a miss. So the side is retired, and Mullica Hill will have a chance to win it in the bottom of the 8th. But we'll look back at the tape and see if we made a mistake there, because obviously we did. But yeah, we'll play it how it is. 7-7 going to the bottom of the 8th. Some light clouds are starting to get over us here at Alcyon Park, the picturesque park here in South Jersey, as Nick Record, the graduate of Triton Regional, is on for another frame. As we said, these guys are going to have a big challenge versus Washington Township, considering the fact that Washington Township has been sitting here. When did they get here? Like 5?
Yeah, they've been here for...
Yeah, they got here like maybe a half hour after the game started, and they started hitting in the cages, which is fair. You know, you want to get here early, and Washington Township's right around the corner. But this game has now run for 3 hours and 15 minutes. And
with a storm looking at us.
The storm is staring us right in the face. Bill Gore texted us. He is the tournament director for Camden County Legion, and he said, "Are you guys in a rain delay?" And I said, "No," and I forgot. He is at a showcase in Mercer County, and therefore he's getting hit with the rain before any of us. Count is 1 and 2. Yeah, he's in the thick of it right now, and we are about to be in the thick of it. That is down. Lagarena and Scheuber, the only two for Mullica Hill who did not grab a bat in the 7th as a part of their comeback frame that did not finish off the game. Strike called. He started trotting down to first base, but now has to return to center. And it is 2 and 2. Yeah, Washington Township once again warming up down the right field line. They've just kind of had to go in a cycle now because this game has taken so long. Time is called. That's also a little dangerous, though. I mean, it's not very lit down there. And I've tried to have catches with baseballs in little to no daylight, and it does not end well. Because you do not see that baseball very well, and boom, you've got a leather ball in your face. Upstairs. And Rob Lagarena reaches base for just the 2nd time tonight. As here is Evan Scheuber. That one is high. Infield came rushing in, expecting a bunt. By the way, no score in the top of the 2nd of the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Although Harper did double in the top of the 1st, he did not score. A bunt back to the hill. Record has trouble. Throw to first. The twirl is in time, and it does advance Lagarena to 2nd base. So here's Nacarelli now, looking to play hero, although, no, that would be a pinch hitter because Nacarelli was out of the left-handed box. Yeah, that's a right-hander in the box. But I don't see his jersey number or anything, but that is not Nacarella. McDonald is on deck, so it's somebody new, which is a shame because we don't, well, I mean, not a shame, but it's unfortunate because we don't have their jersey number, and it's incredibly hard to see. That would be Zach Brake. Okay. He wasn't even a guy that was on the original roster for Mullica Hill. Funny enough, but another familiar name out of Kingsway, who helped play hero in the Ralph Shaw Classic back in April with a game-winning bunt that was botched in the infield, and Kingsway went on to win not only that game versus Bishop Eustace, but also the entire tournament after shutting out Audubon 8-0 in that 27th annual Ralph Shaw Classic. This one is jammed over towards first. Yeah, no, I heard the rumbles.
Yeah. So I said, oh God, that's great.
What?
I just saw a flash of it over there.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
Yeah, Vince, why don't you go grab the tent out of the car? I will dabble my hand in one hand producing, one hand camera work. Yeah. But this is a real shame because this might cut into our Tri-County game tomorrow, depending on the result of this. Yeah, our producer Vincent is gonna go grab that tent just in case anything comes by. But I think it might be moving faster than even the weather folks expected. Count is 3-1, 1 out. Game-winning run on second base in the bottom of the 8th inning, and 1 away. Record taking his time, tilts his head back to the mound. And this one is poked on a ball low. Throw to first is going to be in time, and the runner will hold at second. So, Zach Bragg, the pinch hitter, rounds out 6-3. Joey McDonald played hero in his last at-bat with a game-tying double. Now looks to replicate it. Strike called. I will say it feels very weird to be doing the balls and strikes on the laptop and doing camera work, so excuse me if it's a little patchy, but I had to send him out to get our protective tent just in case the rain comes through. That ball goes to the backstop, and now the winning run is 90 feet away. So after the leadoff walk, La Garena has now advanced all the way to third. Yeah, I just heard another one to my 9 o'clock. It's coming. Whether you like it or not, it's coming. So Mullica Hill would like to win the game right now. I'll tell you that. They would really like to do it right now. Because if we go to the 9th inning, we might not complete the 9th inning. And Vince is coming back with our tent right now. 1-1. Fouled back, 1-2. I mean, that's my fear, is that you have a really convoluted situation for Washington Township, who's been here for 5 hours? Oh, not 5 hours, I'm sorry, 3 hours. And they've been warming up, they've been warming up, they've been warming up. They've basically had a full practice. That one's jammed foul. It almost hit the Washington Township players down the first base line. Still 1-2. But how do you make it work? I mean, do you push everything back to tomorrow afternoon? Do you push everything back to tomorrow night?
We're going to have to push everything back.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it looking bad over there?
It doesn't look good. It
does not look good.
Very dark, and I saw about 5 cracks go through the sky.
That's great.
So, that was...
God's angry, folks. It's 2-2. But it's 7-7 in the bottom of the 8th, and if you wanted to talk about an electric game, this game is about to get more electric in a couple of minutes. I mean, I thought that it wouldn't come through until about 9:30, 10 o'clock, but it's on an early trajectory. But it might not matter. Out towards short, picked up, throw to first. He's hustling across the bag. It is safe, and Mullica Hill won't have to worry about the storms. The game is over. 8-7 walk-off final. And Miles Taylor is incredibly upset with that play. And Their players are just now starting to walk off the field. It looked like McDonald was safe at first. I didn't see any reason why it would be disputed, but with 2 outs, that's going to be a walk-off winner. So Gloucester Township, despite being the younger team, despite being the less experienced team, they put on a heck of a fight. And they are going to be a team that, even though they were on hiatus for a couple of years, they're gonna get their flowers. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it was a deal of we got to get out of here, but Washington Township is getting their bags onto the field, and they are going to start packing the dugout. So Mullica Hill will clear shop, and our next opponent, assuming we play a second game, because that is a very if scenario right now, is going to be Mullica Hill and Washington Township. So we will keep you updated on our social media pages at DW Broadcasting on Twitter and Instagram, and you'll be able to see our updates there. We will also be live in a couple of minutes for the second broadcast. Please follow the link on our YouTube page that says Camden County American Legion Championships to follow the link to get to the championship game. We will know whether we're playing or not in a couple of minutes. Washington Township obviously wants to play. They're not going to go out here empty-handed, but the rain and the thunder might have different plans. So the final score tonight, 8-7 in favor of Mullica Hill on a walk-off single in the infield by Joey McDonald. From everybody here at the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting crew, our social media coordinators, Brandon the Kegerland, Keely Curran, and Anthony DePalma, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Nelson Reeves. My producer, Vincent Vogt. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you in about 30 minutes, give or take, depending on the rain. We'll be back, folks.